Hello, welcome to Checking In at the Library. I'm Genevieve Owens, the Assistant Director here at the Williamsburg Regional Library. And in today's episode, I'll be highlighting some titles from my favorite part of the library's collection, our cookbooks. We have over 2,000 of them on topics ranging from soup to nuts. I especially enjoy the way the collection allows me to test drive a cookbook before I buy it. I'll often check one out, take it home, and try several of the recipes myself. I'm looking for dishes that can be made with my intermediate level of kitchen skills, have loads of flavor, appeal to both adults and my middle school age daughter, and are generally quick and easy because on weeknights I'm always pressed for time. So here are some titles that passed my road test. The first one is The Best Recipe by the editors of Cook's Illustrated magazine. Cook's Illustrated is a bi-monthly magazine, and each time it comes out it features about a dozen recipes that have been exhaustively tested. The editors use that approach in putting together the best recipe. It has 700 recipes for delicious home-cooked foods. Each recipe is preceded by a very detailed discussion of the testing process, and that sometimes can get a little bit obsessive-compulsive. So if you don't want to read that part, you can skip right to the recipe. I should warn you that it doesn't always have photographs of each recipe, and that's something that some cookbook users really like to have. It does have beautiful line drawings of lots of the different techniques that they're trying to teach you. And I should also warn you that the recipes aren't always quick and easy. They can be very involved and time-consuming. But if you'll follow the instructions exactly, you're sure to come out with a dish that is very good, if not absolutely fabulous. You'll also find wonderful advice about cookware and specific ingredients in The Best Recipe. My favorite recipe in the whole book is on page 30. It's for a pantry clam chowder that my New England relatives say is really good. My next title is The Barefoot Contessa Family Style by Ina Garten. Ina is a Food Network star, and she's really one of my favorites. She's so warm and welcoming. She focuses on stress-free baking and cooking, and her tagline is, "How easy is that?" The books feature beautiful photographs of each dish, and the recipes are relatively simple but absolutely delicious. Now, if you're a foodie snob, you'll be kind of dismissive of a Food Network star, but Celia Sack, who is the owner of the very sophisticated Omnivore books, has zeroed in on one of Ina's titles, saying, I know, a TV chef, but listen, this book is great, the recipes work, and you shouldn't feel embarrassed to ask for it." My two favorites from this title are the string bean with shallots recipe on page 115, and my daughter literally begs for the penny with 5 cheeses on page 89. My next title is Cooking with Trader Joe's Cookbook, Dinner's Done, by Deanna Gunn and Wona Miniotti. I am so glad to have a Trader Joe's here in Williamsburg. It offers a great selection of basic to gourmet items that are tasty, affordable, and depending on the choices you make, quite healthy. This book uses Trader Joe's prepped ingredients for meals that require little active preparation time. These authors have an earlier Trader Joe's cookbook, but this one features full nutrition information for each dish. And it also offers a photograph of each recipe. I'm very eager to try the hearty minestrone with pesto on page 88. My next title is a very new cookbook. It's the Gourmet Cookie Book, the single best recipe from each year, 1941 to 2009. Now, Gourmet magazine stopped publishing last year, and that really felt like a death in the foodie family. But just in time for the holidays, Gourmet has released a cookbook featuring one cookie recipe from each year in which it was publishing. It's a gorgeous format with a photo on each page and the recipe itself on the other side. And it's a great way to follow trends in techniques and ingredients through 6 different decades. It's really interesting because up until 1982, Gourmet's recipes were presented in a very conversational style, as if one experienced cook was talking to another experienced cook. But in 1982, the editors decided that they needed to make their recipes more accessible to novice cooks, and so they separated the list of ingredients from the actual instructions themselves, and you can see that change in this title. Apparently, one of the favorite things people like to do with this book is to zero right in on the year of their birth to see what the cookie is for that particular year. And my favorite so far in this book is the October 1990 cookie, which is a mocha cookie. My next title really isn't a cookbook, but I think it's really fun. This is Good, Better, Best Wines, a no-nonsense guide to popular wines by Carolyn Evans Hammond. I'm just always struck by the way good food and wine really complement each other, and this little book cuts through the ocean of choices that are available in your local grocery store. It zeroes in on a variety of grapes and then offers you recommendations at the $5, $8, $11, and $15 price points. There's an image of each recommended bottle so that you can easily identify them on the shelves. Now, this book is no substitute for the knowledge that we can gain from local wine shops, but it's a great and easy place to start. My next title is so near and dear to my heart. It's the Tex Mex Cookbook. It's a history and recipes and photos by Rob Walsh. Now, this is not about the food that Diana Kennedy chronicled in The Cuisines of Mexico, and it's also the cuisine that was edited out of Rick Bayless's first book, Authentic Mexican. This book is an homage to Tex Mex, America's oldest regional cuisine, which is really a mashup of Spanish and Native American food. As Rick Bayless says, there's nothing fancy or fussy here, just a combo platter full of pure comfort. It has wonderful photos and text tracing the cuisine from the Mexican pioneers of the 16th century to the present day, along with relatively accessible recipes. I especially loved Chapter 9, titled American Cheese Enchiladas, and Chapter 10, which covers the holy grail of the cuisine, in my humble opinion, the puffy taco. I'd like to wrap up with two titles that began on the World Wide Web. The first one is Make It Fast, Cook It Slow, the big book of everyday slow cooking by Stephanie O'Day. It's based on her 2008 New Year's resolution to use her crock-pot slow cooker every day for a year and write about it on the internet. Her award-winning blog, A Year of Slow Cooking, has had more than 9 million visitors from all over the world. It offers an extensive array of family-friendly meals. They all happen to be gluten-free, and she writes a verdict after each one of the recipes, often letting us know what her children thought of the dish. Now, it doesn't have any photographs in it. She specifically kept them out in order to make the cookbook more affordable. But you don't really need the photos, and they're available on her website. We highlighted this title back in February of 2010 in our Blogging for a Good Book blog. The reviewer who used it really complimented Stephanie on adapting recipes for different size slow cookers, and it doesn't ask you to cook ingredients before you put them in the slow cooker. I'm especially fond of the pasta fajoule recipe on page 201. My last title is The Pioneer Woman Cooks, Recipes from an Accidental Country Girl by Ree Drummond. It began in 2006 when she started writing about her hilarious transition from being a spoiled city girl to a domestic country wife, and she now has an award-winning website. Both the website and the book are filled with gorgeous photographs of her hunky husband and 4 children on horseback being real cowboys and cowgirls on their working cattle ranch in Oklahoma. It also features step-by-step photos of the family-friendly dishes she taught herself to cook through the years. I especially love the migas recipe on page 61. That's a breakfast dish made with eggs and corn tortillas. Her sherry tomato soup on page 103. And oh my goodness, the chocolate sheet cake that's on page 218. It's a birthday family favorite in our house. So, we've reviewed 8 different titles from our cookbook collection, all of which I've enjoyed tremendously. Please feel free to come to the library at either of our locations, the Williamsburg Library on Scotland Street or the James City County Library on Croker Road. And you can also find these titles on our website, wrl.org. So, are you hungry yet? I know I am. Thank you for watching, and until next time, bon appetit.